Oh, I didn't want that in there anyway. Screw just fell out. Hello again, everyone. And this week we have a very self-centered video, I have to say. Not my usual going out and about and taking you to different places. It will lead on to that, trust me. But right now we're going to be talking about video, particularly with regard to both my Olympus EM1 Mark II, which is having a holiday at the moment. More about that in the future. And the Sony A7. Now, before I get on to the actual video side of things, I felt quite lucky a couple of weeks ago, in as much as I found a Sony A7 Mark II for sale locally here in Liverpool, complete with the 24-240 FE lens, the all-in-one 10 times zoom. I think it's 3.5 to 6.3, and I managed to get it for a really good price. And what I immediately decided to do, and why I was looking for one, was to make use of the better video facilities on the A7 Mark II compared to the old Mark I. The lens I had absolutely no interest in. It's a monstrous beast, slow aperture wise. So what I've done in the intervening 2 weeks is to list the A7 Mark I with the 24-240 lens, and it sold literally within 5 minutes of me posting it on a very well-known internet auction site. So that has gone. I have now got an A7 II body, mint, which is going to give me both image stabilization for use with my vintage lenses, which was the whole reason for me initially wanting a full frame body, and it also has got better video facilities than the Mark I version. So, next step, when you are wanting to do a bit of video rather seriously, what do you do? Okay, my first instinct was to opt for a cage. I'll just show you. Let me put the A7 to one side. Now, I've done all this on a budget, and this particular cage was second hand. I believe it's been made by Newer, N-W-E-R, Newer, and it came with a whole bunch of accessories which I haven't got the space to lay out on the table here in front of me, but I have put a still together. So it comes with hand grips, pistol grips, longer rods for attaching various things to, but it is, or was originally intended to accept a DSLR, and I think, looking at it, probably something like a Canon 5D. That would be my instinct. I'm not 100% sure. So it's far from perfect with my Sony A7. In fact, it wouldn't make any difference if it was an A7 1, 2, 3, R, you name it. It's not ideal, but it was cheap, and I like cheap. What have I done to it? Well, I've had to reconfigure it. As it came to me, it was configured very differently. So I've sort of cobbled together, if you like, how I want to use it. At the moment, you can see on the base we have the rail, which I will talk about when I take this outside into the garden and demonstrate the K&F Concept video tripod. This is the rail that came with their tripod. They are bigger and beefier than the conventional Arca Swiss plates that you might be familiar with. I think they're called the DJI RS 2 and 3, and they're compatible with Manfrotto as well, but they're wider than an Arca Swiss plate. Anyway, that's fitted to the base. I can move all these bits and pieces, these gubbins under here, these rods I can move either backwards or forwards depending on what I want to install, and they just clamp down, and there is a carrying handle on the front. So if I just quickly mount the camera in here, you'll see that it's not actually going to be inside the cage. Apologies for the rattling and banging and crashing while I just attach this. And if you can hear a car horn in the background, you may pick it up, I don't know, but it's somebody's car alarm going off. There we are. So you can see that in actual fact it's not in the cage, it's in front of the cage. But centre of gravity wise it's fine. I can slide it further back if I need to, and it will accept, obviously, the longest lens I think I'm going to be using with it is probably a 200mm, and it will accommodate that without any issues whatsoever. Now, the other thing that it came with, and which will be useful but with certain lenses only, is this device, which is a focus puller. And I've done a very quick little bit of video to show you how this works, but basically it clamps onto the front rails here. See if I can get it on there one-handed. And we line it up with the focusing ring on the lens, and by turning this knob on the side you can adjust the focus of your manual focus lenses. And the reason why that's there is that turning the wheel on the side here, you're at 90 degrees to the actual axis of the camera, and you're going to get no camera movement when changing focus. So that is that. So that was I thought, yeah, I'm going to need one of those before I get anything else. What would be the next step? Well, the next step you've already seen, in as much as I went for the K&F Concept matte box with the black mist filter. That was my particular preference, and that will just sit nicely in the front of all this. Let's put that to one side. So we're back with the basic rig here. You'll have to imagine that the matte box is on the front. Now, one of the most useful things you can have when you're shooting video and are wanting to make use of some features unique to video is a field monitor. Now, this is another story, I'm afraid. Just let me slide that to one side. I opted for a Field World. It's the 5.5 inch field monitor, what do they call it? The FW568. It's 1080p, HDMI in and out. It came boxed and everything, not new, but as near as damn it brand new, and that's what it looks like. But there is a story behind this, in as much as the good old Royal Mail left me a text message saying your parcel has been delivered, and the postman kindly left me a photograph of where he had left it, and quite clearly it was not my property. I spent 2.5 hours at the weekend traipsing up and down my road, looking in everybody's front door windows, that is, to see if I could relate the photo that the postman had taken to what I was looking at inside the front door. Couldn't find anywhere. So goodness knows where the guy left it. Of course, I put in a complaint to the post office, and I am still waiting to hear about that. But lo and behold, on Sunday afternoon, whoever had received this originally very kindly brought it and left it on the steps of my house. So I was lucky to get it at all. Very lucky that nobody pinched it, and very lucky that somebody was honest enough to actually work out where it should have been sent to and bring it round to me. And it will simply attach via its bracket, and I can mount it up here on the top of the cage. So it's HDMI in and out, so I can, if I want to, record to an external recorder. Now it comes with an HDMI cable, full size HDMI on the side of the monitor, and mini HDMI on the other end, which goes into the side of your camera. I didn't like this because it is really very stiff. I'm not too worried about the end that comes out of the, well, goes into, I should say, the monitor, but I was very concerned about this end plugging into the camera because it's going to get knocked. So I've invested in a coiled one, and the plug on the camera end is micro and it's at 90 degrees. So when I plug this in, so let me see if I can do it while I've got the thing in front of me. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but if I just don't want to hold it up in front of my face, it'll confuse the Osmo again. But it's pointing 90 degrees down. It's much less likely to get damaged or knocked. So that's that end into the side of the camera, and then all I have to do is to plug the other end. I can feed it up through the cage. So you have manual focus assist, you have framing lines, and you have zebras, which tell you whether the image is blown out in any particular area. Same kind of thing that you can have displaying on your still camera for still images. And then the most interesting aspect of the video work, as far as I'm concerned so far, is something called false colour. And if I turn this around so you can see it, you'll see we have all sorts of weird and wonderful colours in here. Now, as well as being able to display a histogram on here, which I can do very easily, false colours is a way of actually looking at your subject. You can probably work out that I'm still pointing it at a desk light at the moment. If I point it at the box that the monitor came in, you can see the box there, or bits of it anyway, because we're using a 50mm lens on the camera at the moment. You can visualize your subject using false colors, and depending on the color that they are registering on the monitor, that will tell you whether you are underexposing or overexposing and blowing out. So depending on the colors, now I'm not quite sure at the moment where we are with this one. With the Feel World, it goes from blue to red. So blue is going to be completely under, hoping you can see that. Blue would be completely underexposed, and the darker the blue, the nearer to absolute black it is. And at the other end of the scale, red is completely overexposed and blown out. So what you're looking for is in the greys and the greens. I'm talking to you like I know what I'm doing here. This is all very new to me. I've not used it in anger yet, but the monitor is incredibly useful. So another advantage, of course, with having a cage is that you can fit your external microphones to it. This is the Rode VideoMic Go, and it takes its power from the camera. There are all sorts that you can get, of course. and that just slides into another cold shoe bracket on the side. These cages, doesn't matter which type you go for, but the cages are all full of holes like Swiss cheese, and you can fit all sorts of attachments to them via cold shoes. And the microphone will just plug into the red socket on the Sony. Perfect. And then finally, to look like a complete professional or a complete donut, whichever you want to call it, you've got headphone jack on the monitor, or I could plug it straight into the camera. Headphone socket there. Tighten you back down. So I can listen into everything. I can check my audio levels just like I can with the Osmo that's filming me now. I get a visual display. The beauty of having headphones is that you can actually hear what's being picked up by the microphone. So that really is the rig out. The next bit of the video, I'm going to take you outside and show you the actual video tripod, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm really pleased with the tripod. Some of you will be thinking, oh my god, he's hypocritical because the man hates using tripods. That's very true. I'm going to have to move past that. Anyway, join me outside in the garden. We're going to have a quick look at the tripod. Okay, so here we are out in the back garden, and what I thought I would do is to show you the setup as I intend to use it, in the main anyway. You've already seen the review and my opinions on the K&F Concept matte box with the black mist filter. Finding out about video is something that I've wanted to discover and investigate for a long time now. Rather than just using the Osmo Pocket 3 or the GoPro, I wanted to make more use of the video functionality in both the EM1 Mark II and the Sony. And in order to do that, I really had to bite the bullet and invest in a serious bit of tripodery. This is the VA18 from K&F Concept. I'll put the various details in the notes down below. Now, K&F Concept were very kind to send this to me. If I do not want to keep it, I am able to send it back to them. They're very happy for me to give it a test and a review, and then to make my mind up. I suspect it's going to be staying with me, I'll be honest with you. In terms of its specifications, this particular model is at the, I think fair to say, the lower end of their video tripod range. And it weighs round about 4 kilos, and it will extend to 62 inches. So at the moment it's not even fully extended. There's no way that I'm going to be using it at 6 foot. I'm only 5'6", so my goodness me. What you will notice about the video tripods, pretty much all of them, irrespective of make and cost, is the fact that they have a fluid damped head. That's the most important thing. And when you are out trying to film subjects, it's great being able to rotate the camera, to pan it, but with a conventional tripod like my little travel tripod that I used when I was testing out the matte box, as soon as you want to start tilting rather than panning, that's when a ball and socket head just falls to bits, as opposed to a fluid damped head which allows you to make really smooth transitions up and down, left and right. And it is fluid damped, it is spring loaded if you like, almost, So there's a resistance there when I'm doing this, and it's a super light action. Lock it back off. The handle, pan tilt handle, is ambidextrous. You can fit it either right-handed or left-handed. There is a bubble spirit marker, and don't worry, I'll put close-up stills in during the video so you can see the bits that I'm talking about. And in case your ground isn't particularly level, and in case you don't need to or want to mess around altering the height of each individual leg, there is a bowl handle under here. If I just release that, you can see that I can level off the head itself within, I don't know, maybe 10 degrees, something like that. It's extremely well built. This particular model has the screw lock fittings for the legs, and if I just remove the rig from on top, again, I will put a close-up in for you, but the attachment rail is much bigger, wider and beefier than you would get for a still camera. You can see the rail on the bottom of my cage here. There is a technical name for the type of plate that's used on these, and I'll put that in the notes because I can't remember it. Have to emphasize I'm very much learning this aspect of photography, videography, as time goes by. I'm a newbie, so I am now in the middle of appreciating the weight of this thing. 4 kilos of tripod, probably not much different with regard to the cage, the camera, the monitor and the microphone. So it's going to be round about the 8 kilo mark that I'm going to be moving around. So I am not going to be taking this very far away from home. I'm going to be using it in my local parks. At least that's my initial intention. But I do hope to do some serious work with this. So now we will take this back inside, and I can talk to you in a little bit more detail about the rig and how I've set things up. I've done it on a budget, but there's quite a lot to go through. There we are. That's what I call a tripod. In typical K&F concept fashion, comes with a lovely carrying case, and although it's by no means pocketable, my goodness me, it's great. As well as the hand carrying straps, it does come with a shoulder strap, which when I do take it out and about, even though it may only be to my local park, I'm definitely going to need to make use of the shoulder strap. So am I going to be doing more video? No, probably not more video that you will see, not for a while. I might be old, but I'm still keen to learn, and to be perfectly honest with you, I have avoided learning about video for far too long. I think now with the quality that we can get with our basically hybrid cameras that will shoot stills as well as video, I think we own it to ourselves. I think we owe it to ourselves to actually make use of the facilities. And interestingly, I saw a YouTuber the other day in discussion, and I think he's probably quite right that the manufacturers of still cameras now have reached a point where one of the only ways they can really make big changes to their cameras is on the video side. Let me know in the comments what you think, whether you agree with that, and also whether you would like to see any video work that I do. Would you like to see me using it for real and telling you more about the ins and outs and no doubt the pitfalls that I'm going to encounter along the way? If so, please, as usual, leave me a comment. I promise next week we will be back to normal, kind of, although we are getting close to Christmas, and I've got a little bit of a funny teasy one for you this year. So watch this space. But in the meantime, enjoy your photography or videography, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.